For the pleasure of the Lordship, Shri Radha Ballabha, Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, Shri Prabhupada, and all the assembled devotees. Sankirtan score report for Monday, 31st of January. Books distributed, Yogeshwar Govind Prabhu, 1 Mahabig for 2 book points. Preaching score, Gopals 83 guests for 1000 Lakshmi points. Radhichaiba 83 guests for 1003 Lakshmi points. And Crossways 155 guests for 1665 Lakshmi points. Lakshmi liberated Yogeshwar Govind Prabhu 10 and member services 1516. That gives the daily total of 1526 Lakshmi points and the weekly total of 4550 Lakshmi points. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Arjun Sabu. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Bandho moe savadhana mate. Bandho moe savadhana mate. जहाँ प्रसाद भाई हे भवतोरिया जाए। जहाँ प्रसाद भाई हे भवतोरिया जाए। कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होते। कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए जहाँ होते। गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्य चित्ते कोरिया क्या। गुरुमुख mukha padma vakya chitte te kariya kya. Harana kari ho mane asha. Harana kari ho mane asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Se Uttama Gati. Shri Guru Charane Rati Se Uttama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Chakudan dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se. Chakudan dilo jai janme janme Prabhu se. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Prema Bhakti jahan hote avidya vinas jate. Prema Bhakti jahan hote avidya vinas jate. Vede gaye jahan racharita. Vede gaye jahan racharita. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamaja Narabandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamaja Narabandhu. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Ha Prabhu kar daya deh more pad chaya. Ha Prabhu kar daya deh more pad chaya. Ebe jas gusuk tribhuvana. Ebe jas gusuk tribhuvana. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamaja Narabandhu. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamaja Narabandhu. Lokanath Lokera Jivana Lokanath Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu kar daya deho more pad jaya Prabhupada karo daya deho more pad jaya Srila Prabhupada patita pavana Srila Prabhupada laila sharana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare, Jai Gaura Hare. Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura Hare, Jai Gaura Hare. Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hare. Gaura, 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 Gaura Hare. Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannatha, Jai Baladeva, Jai Shri Subhadra. Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Jagannath, Jayo Baladeva, Jaya Shri Subhadra. Jayo Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jayo Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jayo Radha Vallabha, Radha Vallabha Shri Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premananda. Śrīmad Paramahansa Parivrajaka-acharya Sat Shri Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Om Vishnupāda Paramahansa Parivrajaka-acharya Sat Shri Śrīmad Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Khadga Swami Prabhugan ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Brajbhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Jagannathpuri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Where's your daughter? Coming? Okay. Gauranga, Gauranga. have already started for the April retreat. Yeah. People are already starting to come in. So. We will have some fun. Jai Radha Matovo Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Matovo Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janvalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Matava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Matava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janabalabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Matava Kunja Bihari Hey Radha Matava Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parakraj Acharya Ashtada Satashishiman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki. Nitai Go Premanande. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, chapter entitled Yamaraj Instructs His Messengers, text number 16. They don't do the video anymore? The video? Oh, just here? Not working? Someone can fix it or? Is it? Okay. Yam vai nagobir manasano birva. Vridagira vara brito vichakshate. Atmanam antahridi santam zatmanam. Chakshu yataiva kritiyastata param. Yam vaina gobir manasa subirva. Ridagira vasu brito vichakshate. Antahridi santam atmanam. Chakshu yataiva kritiyastata param. Yam, whom, vai, indeed, na, not, Ngopi, by the senses, Manasa, by the mind, Asubi, by the life breath, Va, or, Hrida, by thoughts, Gira, by words, Va, or, Asubhrita, the living entities, Vichakshite, see or know, Atmanam, the super soul, Antahridi, within the core of the heart, Santam, existing, Atmanam, of the living entities, Chakshu, the eyes, Yata, just like, Eva, indeed, Akritaya, the different parts or limbs of the body, Tata, than them, Param, higher. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīmad Prabhupada Ki. Jai. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the Supersoul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, not by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Translation responsibly. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the Super Soul in everyone's heart, not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Purport. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them. And the hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the Supersoul, who is situated within the heart. As the Lord himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Savasya chaham hridi sannivishto mataha smriti jnanam apohanam cha. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshera juna tishtati. The Supreme Lord, as the Supersoul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the Supersoul. The Supersoul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the Supersoul by manipulating his senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of the eyes. But that is not possible. But that is impossible. Although one cannot see the Supersoul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. Omagyan Tibadandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Seyena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kaupa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubi Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Good to see you all. I haven't been here to the temple since May. It's been a long time, maybe 8-9 months like that since we've been here. So it's good to be back, see my old friends, see all the devotees. Thank you for keeping the temple going during this time. So we're hearing here how Krishna cannot be perceived by material senses. Ataha Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhave Grayam Indriyai Seva Mukhi Jivado Swayameva Sparatyada. You cannot see Krishna with material senses. The material senses are blunt. So you cannot perceive spirit with matter. In other words, you cannot use these material senses to see God, as Prabhupada says. Some people say, show me God. Prabhupada says, do you have the eyes to see God? Can you see Him? You can't see Him with these eyes. You need to purify the consciousness. Premanjanach churita bhakti vilochanena means the eyes have to become tinged with the salve of love, which is prema, a different type of love, not this love in the material world. It's quite humorous actually when devotees get married. Have you been to any of the weddings? Yeah, you've been to the weddings, right? It's actually, I find it humorous. Because we're getting married, but it's all false. Everyone gets into it and they spend like $30,000 on the hairdo and the whole thing, and it's like, it all disappears in no time. I find it humorous. Even my own wedding, I find it humorous on one level, right? It's humorous. Another level, it's very serious. It's a big commitment. So there's one part of the wedding where the husband puts his hand on the heart of the wife. You'll see in most of the devotee like that. And he starts chanting this mantra. It says, from love to love, who gives love? Who is the giver of love? Who is the receiver of love? Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. La, 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 la. Love, love, love. So he has the hand on the heart of the wife and he's saying, who is giving this love? Who is giving this love to the... But if you read the Sanskrit, it doesn't say prema, right? In the Sanskrit it says calm. Calm means lust. So what's actually being said is, who is giving this lust to who? And who is giving the lust back? From lust to lust and from lust to lust. Because if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, the definition of love and lust are given. Atmendriya priti. Atma, indriya, priti. When you're trying, indriya means the senses, atma means yours. So the definition of calm, of lust, is when you are trying to satisfy your senses. Right? That is calm. The definition of prema, given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, is krishnendriya priti. Krishna indriya. When you're trying to satisfy Krishna's senses, that is prema, that is love. When you try to satisfy your senses, that is calm, that is lust. So when you get married, right, you're not getting married to satisfy the other person's senses selflessly. You're getting married to satisfy your senses, right? That's calm, right? So it's for me, it's humorous, because you have the part of the wedding where, you know, the husband's touching the heart of the wife, and he's saying, oh, for who gives love? I'm giving love to love, and love is giving love. It's not love at all, right? One time, Upendra Prabhu, who was one of Prabhupada's early servants, this is like 1967, 68, this is like very early in the movement. So he was one of Prabhupada's servants, and he said to Prabhupada was in the room, and he was there with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was doing something. So, you know, Prabhupada was focused on what he was doing. And Upendra Prabhu says, Prabhupada, I think I should get married. And Prabhupada said, what is that? He said, Prabhupada, I think I should get married. And Prabhupada said, married? He said, yes, Prabhupada. And he said, okay. And he said, then find a girl. And then Upendra said, Prabhupada, which girl? And Prabhupada looked out the window. He said, any girl? He said, there are so many. And then Upendra said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what about love? And Prabhupada said, love? Love? Love is for Krishna. Because in the material world, we're trying to satisfy our senses. That's material, that's calm. And it's not love, it's not prema. You can have love between the husband and wife. I've not seen it in the material world, but you can have it, it is possible. But you have to develop spiritual vision. Like Bhaktivedanta Thakur is saying, you see the wife as Krishna's sevak, Krishna's servant. You see the husband as Krishna's servant. You see the children as Krishna's bhaktas, devotees. That's how Bhaktivedanta Thakur teaches us. He says that my wife, my children, my home, everything is for Krishna. That is to be used in Krishna's service. I am just the, how does he say it? At the gate?
Of the house, I'm about the house, taking care of.
Yeah, he says like I'm, like the caretaker. Yeah, like that kind of mood. So that is the mood, right? We should see the husband as the devotee, the children as devotees, the wife as devotee, and then everyone is serving like that. That is spiritual. Prabhupada comments on the third canto. There's one purport where it describes the husbands and wives in Vaikuntha. So the husbands and wives in Vaikuntha, they are flying around on airplanes, Pushpa Vimana, right? And they're embracing each other, they're holding each other, right? And flying around on these Pushpa Vimana, and then they land and they get off and they serve Lakshmi Narayan. But Prabhupada said there was no sex desire. Right? Even though they are there and the wife is beautiful and the husband looks like the Lord himself, but there was no sex desire. Because their senses are full of prema, their consciousness is full of prema. They just want to use their senses in the service of Krishna, which is the definition of love. That is prema. So it is a different thing. So it can be had in this world, and we should develop that. But you'll see sometimes between husband and wife there is friction. Have you experienced this? No? Husband and wife don't get along sometimes? Is it? No? You never had? No? Okay. These are very advanced devotees. So they never had it. But actually, sometimes there is friction. What is the friction there for? Because we are seeing the other as the object of our sense gratification. And when you see like that, then there is friction. Because no one likes to be exploited in this world. None of us like to be exploited, right? Most people are vaccinated, right? I didn't want to get vaccinated, but I didn't have a choice, basically. Otherwise, I can't do seva, you know. So But then some people, they just will not get vaccinated under any circumstance. Because why? Because they think, I don't want to be exploited. No one will control me. No one likes that feeling. So in relation to Krishna, no one likes that feeling. No, you don't want to be exploited. So when the husband and wife are there, you don't like that feeling of exploitation. But when we try to enjoy the other for our sense gratification, that's where the friction comes. Right? Prabhupada actually says in Ishopanishad, he said, Krishna does not want to control us. Right? Krishna doesn't want to control you. Krishna wants you to cooperate with him. That's all. Just cooperate. Because who is he? Who is Krishna? He is Bhagwan. Can he help that he is Bhagwan? He can't do anything about it. He's God. He can't change. Even if he wants to have a holiday, he can't. He is Bhagwan. That's who he is. So he can't change who he is. And we are Jiva, we are Anu, we are very small. And we're just meant to cooperate, serve Krishna. We just have to serve him. That's all he wants. He doesn't want to exploit us. Right? He just says, please serve me, because I am Krishna. And when devotees have prema, they want to serve Krishna. When you are pure, you want to serve him. You have nothing else that you want to do but serve Krishna. That is prema. Always enthusiastic to serve Krishna, every moment of the day. Always want to serve Krishna, day and night. This is prema. So you cannot see God with your blunt material senses. Sometimes people say, I want to see God. You can't. When the senses are pure, then you will see him. Savo padi vini muktam tat paratwena nimalam. Savo pani vini muktam. Upadi, what does upadi mean? Yeah, it means upadi means a designation. I am this, I am that. Savopadi, so many. Sava means so many, all. Salva, we have so many designations. I am man, I am woman, I am Indian, I am Australian, I am brahmachari, I am a grihasta, I am a doctor, I am a lawyer. Right? Everyone has their upadi. This is all false. Bhakti destroys all these upadis. Tat paratwena nirmalam. So you become nirmala. What is nirmala? Pure. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to be pure? It would make life much less complicated if you are a pure devotee. So how do you become pure devotee? Sadhana bhakti. Because Rupa Goswami teaches us there are 3 types of bhakti. What are the 3 types of bhakti? He discusses in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Very good. First one is called sadhana. Right? So if you read Nectar of Devotion, first 16 chapters, right, of the first part, they are called sadhana bhakti. Then, chapter 16, 17, you have, 17, 18, you have bhava bhakti. And then you have 19, you have prema bhakti. So there are 2 divisions of bhakti. One is called sadhana, the other one is called sadhya. Sadhya means the goal, what we are aiming for. You have to know what you're aiming for. If you want to develop prema bhakti, love for Krishna, you have to know what prema is. Right? If you want to get to bhava bhakti, which is the precursor, premankur, or the precursor or the beginning of prema bhakti, you have to know what it is. So you have to understand the definition of bhakti. Because when you have a pure devotional service, then you will, when you're a pure devotee, then your senses become purified, then you will ascertain Krishna, you will realize Krishna. Then you can directly commune with Krishna. Prabhupada says the goal of Krishna consciousness is that we can see Krishna face to face, just like we see each other now. And Prabhupada says you take Krishna by the hand and you lead him like Mother Jashoda. That is the goal, to actually see Krishna face to face. But you'll only see Krishna face to face if you desire to see Krishna. If you have no desire, then how will you see Krishna? Many devotees leave Krishna consciousness. And many devotees, they become unenthusiastic about Krishna consciousness over the years. I don't see it so much now. ISKCON is more healthy now. More devotees, they stay. They join and they stay. But in the past, like when I joined, maybe like 30 years ago, people who join with me or people who are already there, there's not so many who are still actively engaged in devotional service. Like you don't see, hands up, you've been devoted more than 30 years. Hands up, you've been more than 20 years. No one's even been above 28. So it shouldn't be like that. There should be many devotees. It's more like that now. Everyone who's coming, they stick. But in the past, so many, why did they not stick? There are many reasons why devotees leave. Or there's many reasons why devotees become unenthusiastic. But my Guru Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Goswami, he was saying in one lecture, it was a very nice point that he made. He said, one reason why devotees leave, they don't become attached to Krishna himself. You have to become attached to Krishna. How will you love someone if you're not attached to them? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about 3 different subject matters. What are the 3 subject matters? Anyone heard Bhagavad Gita? What is it? Yeah? Karma, bhakti and jnana. Very good. Yeah, very good. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnana yoga. These are 3 subject matters of the Gita. So the very first verse of the bhakti section, chapter 7, verse number 1, very interesting. If you look at Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita, which verse does he speak the most on? 7.1. Yeah. What's the second? 9.1. 7.1. First verse of the 7th chapter, he gives the most lectures of. First verse of the 9th chapter, he gives the second most. Right? It's interesting if you analyze. He speaks on 7.1 more than any other verse. 23. TK. Very good. So 23 classes on 7.1. Now in that verse, the first verse about bhakti, Krishna uses the word asakti. What does asakti mean? Attachment. Krishna says you have to become attached to me. This is what bhakti is based upon. If you don't become attached to Krishna, right, you will not stay enthused in devotional service. So we have to develop attachment to Krishna. And when you become attached to Krishna, then you stay enthusiastic. And then you can serve Krishna for your whole life. You can serve Krishna for many lifetimes. You can even serve Krishna eternally. But you have to become attached to him. And many devotees, they become unenthused because they are not attached to Krishna himself. So how do you become attached to Krishna? How do you become attached to Krishna? What is it? No, that doesn't make you attached to Krishna. If you give up your attachment to material things, like Sabari Muni, he gave up his attachment to material things, but he didn't lose, because he wasn't attached to Krishna enough, he went back to Maya. So no, that's not enough. That's only 50% of the work. 50% is giving up your attachment to material things, but the other 50% you have to become attached to Krishna. So how do we become attached to Krishna? Yeah, service, yeah. Yeah, when you serve someone, you become attached to them. Right? If you do service for your guru, you become attached to your guru. That is the process. You have to do seva. And when you serve someone, you become attached to them. That's why we have to serve the other devotees. You become attached. Right? But especially you have to hear about Krishna. Shravanam. Spiritual life begins with Shravanam. Touch Shrinu, Krishna says, just here. Arjuna says to Arjuna, touch Shrinu, just here. And hear from me. You have to hear about Krishna. And when you hear about someone, you'll become attached to them. Rukmini never met Krishna, but she was attached to him. You can become attached to Krishna without even meeting him. Most of us have not seen him for a long time. We haven't seen him for a long time. I can't even remember what he looks like. That's how long since I've seen Krishna. I'm convinced that I have seen him in the past, but I don't remember what he looks like. So long. Imagine you haven't seen someone so long you don't even remember what they look like. It's a great shame. Yeah, it's a shame on my behalf. I don't even remember what he looks like. That's so long since I saw him. So by hearing about him, everything wakes up again. Just like when you have amnesia, right? You lose your memory, and then gradually it comes back by hearing. Oh yeah, now I understand. Yeah, then I remember all these different things. So then we hear more about Krishna, then we remember him, and then we can meditate on him once again. So you have to become attached to Krishna. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, Dham. You have to become attached to these things. The names of Krishna. How many names does Krishna have? Unlimited. Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, you could say that. Unlimited. Yeah, he has so many names. What are some of the major names? Right? Krishna. Right? Rama. Then? Govinda. Gopala. Keshav. Yeah. Madhav. So many. He has so many names. I have to become attached to his names. Each name is full of meaning, full of rasa. What does Madhava mean? Madhava. Why do we call Krishna Madhava? What does it mean? Clouds? Yeah? Yeah, technically it means springtime. So one who like invokes that mood of spring. Or when you see him, it is like, because he says in Gita, of seasons I am spring. So when you see him, it is like an explosion of spring. Just like when you go to a very beautiful garden. You know, sometimes we fly to India. Has anyone been to India? You have? Yeah. Okay. So sometimes you fly to India. We stop in Singapore airport. Have you stopped in the Singapore airport? Yeah. You have? Okay. I don't know who you fly with, so I go with Singapore Airlines. So you stop in Singapore airport, and then you get off and they have beautiful gardens. They have like a butterfly garden in the airport. Because you only got a few hours, you want to stay awake, so you walk around the airport, and then, you know, beautiful gardens. And sometimes you walk in there and it's like spring, just explode, beautiful flowers, right? Beautiful butterflies everywhere. So when they see Krishna, it's like an explosion of springtime, right? So attractive. So he's known as Madhava. Madhava also means the husband of the goddess of fortune. It has different meanings. So we have to become attached to Krishna's Nam, his names. Nama, Rupa. Rupa means form. You have to become attached to Krishna's form, which means you have to know about Krishna's form. Okay, so what color are Krishna's eyes? Not black? No. Imagine if the whole thing was black. Have you ever seen anyone, all their eyes all black? No. The middle part is black, that's called the pupil, but then around it, the iris, what color is Krishna's eyes? Pink. Pink, no, that's the white part. The white part is pinkish, but the actual iris, the actual colored part, what color is it? White. No, that's the outside. No, I'm talking about the inner part, the colored part, what we call the iris. What color is Krishna's eyes? Blue. No. You have to know these things. How will you become attached to him if you don't know? Dark brown. Radharani's eyes are dark blue. Her eyes are dark blue, but Krishna is dark brown. Just like sometimes you see people from India, like Gujarati people. Sometimes the women are very beautiful, And then their eyes are like, because probably 99% of Indian people, they have brown eyes. But then once in a while you get someone that has green or blue. And it's like striking. You look, oh, he's so beautiful. You know, Radharani's eyes are like that, like bluish, dark blue. But Krishna's are dark brown. And then his outer part of his eye, the whitish part, that is pinkish. Because he always has tears in his eyes. Indian people like to cry a lot. I have seen. Right? I'm not racist. I'm not racist. Sometimes people say, this is subtle racism. My daughter says it all the time. Oh, you're a racist, you're a racist. No, it's not racist, it's true. Indian people, they always cry. Right? One is crying and then someone else comes. Oh, what is going on? Oh, and then they start crying. They don't even know what's going on. And then the whole village, everyone's like, Krishna. Then you say, what are you crying about? I don't know. Right? The whole village starts crying. But this is Krishna's nature. He always tears in the eyes. And when you have tears in the eyes, your eyes go pinkish. So his eyes are pinkish all the time. Actually, everyone in the spiritual world. Because everyone has so much prema, love. When they see Krishna, they just have tears in the eyes. Krishna sees them, he has tears. So it's always pinkish. That's why it says his eyes are like the color of the lotus. Because that pinkish, like you see on the lotus stem like that, it has that pinkish color. So these are Krishna's eyes, right? They're dark brown and then pinkish. And so they are very beautiful shape like the lotus flower. Some of the devotees have these beautiful eyes also, and especially the devotee children. I won't mention names because they'll become embarrassed, but sometimes you see their eyes, it's like Krishna's eyes, a very beautiful shape. It also says, some description says Krishna's eyes are a little bit droopy. You know this word, droopy? Droopy is like, a little bit like, you know when you're a bit sleepy? You know, you get up in the morning a little bit like... Krishna's eyes are a bit like that. Interesting. Because I think my meditation on him, when I think, because sometimes I hear his eyes are droopy, because Krishna's very relaxed. And sometimes a bit droopy, he's like, that's Krishna. Because it says he's always got a slight smile on his face. So he's like a little bit droopy, like very relaxed. He is, in Australia we would say a cool dude. That makes sense? Cool dude? Yeah, that's what Krishna is like. He's just like very, like that. That is his nature. So these are descriptions of his eyes, right? So there's so many descriptions about Krishna's form. So if you want to become attached to Krishna, you have to understand all these things. What is Krishna's hair like? What color is his hair? Black. Black, but then it has a very slight, how would you call it? Like tinge. Sometimes you see the people from India, blackish hair, but it has very slight reddish tinge. So sometimes it describes Krishna's hair is a little bit reddish tinge, and sometimes it says a little bit bluish tinge. I've seen both. You see someone's hair, it's black, but a little bit of like a bluish tinge or a reddish tinge. So Krishna has that. How long is Krishna's hair? What is that? To his shoulders? To his shoulders when he is younger, when he is Kaumara, because he has 3 ages. Kaumara, Pauganda, Kaishora, right? So when he is younger, when he is like Kaumara and Pauganda, his hair is like more to the shoulder length. But when he's Kaishora, and when you go back to Goloka in the spiritual world, he is always Kaishora, right? He's always like 16. He doesn't grow up in Goloka. When he comes here to the pastimes in the material world, then he grows up very slowly, and his hair grows longer and everything. But in the spiritual world, he's always 16. So his hair is down to his waist, like this, very long. Krishna said, you can imagine. I'm very looking forward to meeting him. Now when I hear all these descriptions, it makes me more attracted to him. His hair is very long. Comes all the way down here, right? He is very... Krishna is actually a little bit wild. He's a very free spirit. Right? He has this very strong spirit. It says he walks like an elephant when he's going through the forest. Have you seen a young elephant? Like walking? Like this is what Krishna, he walks like an elephant. He has his long hair. His eyes are very beautiful, a little bit droopy, like that. This is our God. I'm very attracted to this type of personality. So it's, all these descriptions are given of Krishna. It says that sometimes he puts his hair into a top knot. Up nice and then in a top knot. Yeah, like that. Krishna wears sometimes like that. Imagine if he's got all this long hair and then he winds up in the top knot. He will look very beautiful. And then he wrestles with his friends. He says, come, let us wrestle. One time, there's one nice pastime. All of his friends are there and Krishna says, come, wrestle with me. And they said, you're not so hard to defeat. He said, no, come now, I will wrestle. He said, I'll wrestle all of you now. And then he starts moving like a bull, right? And he starts getting like, and then he starts spinning. And he says, come, all of you, I'll fight all of you at once. And they all charge at him. And then he expands into all different forms and he grabs all of them and he throws them on the ground, defeats all of them at once, right? And it says that he's roaring like a bull while he's doing that. This is Krishna, right? A very, very powerful personality. So you have to meditate. Nama, Rupa, Guna. Guna means qualities. What are some of Krishna's qualities? Well, Nectar of Devotion says 64 qualities. What are some of the qualities? Prema Madhurya. Yeah, he has great love for his devotees. These are the final 4 qualities. No? One of his qualities is that the vacha, or the speech, he can speak in the language of any other species. Yeah, to me that's very attractive, because Krishna is all attractive. Imagine you could speak to any animal. Imagine Krishna is there with a parrot. He's talking to them. He can speak to any creature. This is amazing. This is our God. So Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Leela means this is where you see him display his Nam, his Rupa and his Guna in his pastimes. He has so many wonderful pastimes, attractive pastimes. Right? Everything he does is attractive. Just like when he kidnaps Rukmini, right? The big wedding assembly. All the princes wanted to marry her. She was exquisitely beautiful. So Shishupal came, Dantavakra was there, Jarasandha, all the powerful princes. Duryodhana was there. I don't think the Kurus came, no. All the very powerful princes, they came. And the day before she was to have the Swayambara, to choose the husband, she went to see the goddess Katyayani. So he went to see the Durga temple. So they all lined up to see her. So she got off the chariot, walked into the temple. She was coming back out of the temple. Krishna just drives the chariot in, just grabs her, puts her on the chariot, and drives out, right, in front of everyone, right? And then all the other warriors, they said, no, we're not standing for this. They went and jumped on their chariots, put on their armor, grabbed their bows and everything, chased Krishna. So Krishna and Rukmini are driving out. They look back and they see they're all coming. And Krishna says, Rukmini, you drive the chariot. Just take the reins, you drive for a little while. I'll fight these guys off the back of the chariot with my bow, Shanga. Right? And then Krishna begins to fight, all of them. And Prabhupada, he was explaining while he was listening to this story. He says, yes, and Rukmini, she grabbed the reins of the chariot, right? And she was driving it. Because Kshatriya women They have that spirit. So she grabbed the reins and she was driving the chariot. It's very beautiful pastimes, very attractive pastimes. And then Balaram came from the other direction with his army, and he said to Krishna, you go. He said, you go, I'll take care of this. You go. And Balaram stood there, and then they all came to Balaram, and he smashed them all. He said, you all go back. We're not interested in you guys. Krishna is going with Rukmini, you just go back to where you belong. These are very attractive pastimes. So this is how we become attached to Krishna. You have to hear about Krishna. That's why Prabhupada said you should read Krishna book before you go to bed every night. Because if you read Krishna book, then you will dream of Krishna. And that's very nice if you can dream of Krishna. That's very, very powerful. So this is how you become attached to Krishna. Now you have to hear about him. He's Nama, he's Rupa, he's Guna, he's Leela. Right? And then you'll develop attachment. So, any questions, any comments? Anything we have discussed?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, what a wonderful class. My question is, when you say that we should desire to see Lord Krishna face to face, but I desire to see Lord Krishna face to face, so but I can't see him, so I don't know.
What was the last part?
What is lagging in
I can't understand, what is it?
He said, I can't see him, but
Yeah.
so I'm a desire, I can't see him. So, but what is the thing I'm lacking?
Oh, what are you lacking? Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly. What are you lacking? You're lacking prema, love for Krishna. We don't love him yet. Who do you love in this world? Who do you love the most? Lord Krishna. That's good. That's good. So you have to love him more. More. Krishna wants to take everything from you. In your heart, there might be one little bit where you don't fully love him. You don't give everything to him. Is that true? Yeah. So he wants that part as well. So when you give him that part, then you will see him. He wants 100%. He doesn't take 99%. He gave 100% or nothing. That is Krishna. That's the way he is. He is a difficult person. He wants everything or nothing. So you have to give everything. When you give everything, then he will give to you. He wants to give himself to us, but we have to give everything first. Then he will do it. So, is that okay? Yeah, good question. Okay. Any other questions?
If I cannot develop attachment to Krishna, can I develop attachment to Mahaprabhu or any other forms of Krishna?
Yeah, it's up to you. Just develop attachment to someone. Yeah, whichever form. But there's no reason why you can't develop attachment to Krishna. But yeah, if you're, sometimes devotees, they feel like that, oh, I'm more attracted to Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, that form. So if then, become attached. Hear and chant Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of Mahaprabhu. Or some devotees more attached to Nrsimhadev. Okay, fine. Just become attached. Which form doesn't matter. Yeah. Or it does matter, because whichever form you're attached to, that's where you'll go to. So, but you have to choose, naturally. So, but as long as you're becoming attached to some form, that's your personal relationship with Krishna. Like that, so, whichever it is. Hear and chant about the form you're attracted to. Some devotees Nrsimhadev, some devotees Mahaprabhu, some devotees Krishna, some devotees Balaram, like that, whichever is. Everything is good. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Just follow up on that question.
Yes.
The initial purpose of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, he says any form is okay, but then later in the final chapter he says it was only on Krishna. Not even 400 form, not any other form. And then you see the definition of pure devotion service. What Krishna means, Krishna and his expansion. That's all the devotion says. So how do you understand Prabhupada? Only Krishna
Yeah, it's not the last chapter, it's chapter 11 or 12. Yeah, it's not 18 where Prabhupada says that, where he says, don't divert your attention to any other form but Krishna, the two-handed form. Yeah, that's 11 or 12, it's around about there in the Gita. But, because that's what it means, that's what love means. Just like the gopis, Krishna disappeared. They were running through the forest, mad in separation. And then Krishna took the form of Narayana. Yeah, he was having some leela, some joking. So he takes form, so gopis say, so there's Krishna, because, you know, same color. They ran, and when they got there, it was Narayana, forearms. And they said, Lord Narayana, you know. Their love was so intense, they said, Lord Narayana, have you seen Krishna? And Lord Narayana just stood there, didn't say anything. And they said, Namaste, Namaste. And they ran off looking for Krishna. And Lord Narayana was there. So that is the level of love. When you love someone, you can't replace. Can't be a second person. That's the nature of love. So Prabhupada says that because Prabhupada loved that form, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved that form, then Prabhupada says, don't go to any other form. But in your heart, if there is some other form, then you go to that form. But otherwise, okay? Okay. Any other question? Mataji.
This verse is spoken by Yamaraj.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I can't write it.
Yeah.
Because you're encouraging us how we can see the Lord.
Yeah.
So how significant is it that we should do this before we meet Yamaraj?
Before we meet Yamaraj. None of us are going to meet Yamaraj. Yeah. You've got this on, so. Says in the Shastra, if you have the Kanti Mala, you will not see Yamaraj. He doesn't come to the people with the Kanti Mala. He doesn't come. You know, when the Yamajudas come, they say, oh, Bhaktas, oh, don't touch. We tried to touch one in the past and we got in trouble. They won't touch. They won't touch. They've got no reason to touch us because all of it's all burnt up. So there's no. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for us there's no Yamaraj. Not that. Yamaraj is actually benign. He's a Devata, and he's very beautiful. He has a very beautiful form, like demigods are very beautiful, golden beautiful form. But when you go to Yamaloka, if you've been sinful, when you get there he puts on a vesh. A vesh means like Hati vesh. Jagannath puts on that elephant, Hati vesh, the form. So he puts on a vesh, very terrifying. Yeah, so when sinful people go to Yamaloka, they see that he puts on this vesh. You know, he looks very terrifying. What have you done? And then they say, he has done this. And they say, now you go to hell, this particular type of hell, Rasatala. You go there and you suffer. But he's not actually like that. That's just when he's at work. But when he goes home, he takes it off and he just looks like demigod, and that's what he actually looks like. So we don't have to worry about Yamaraj. So, any other questions? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai ho. Jai Shri Radhe. Guru Goranga Jayate.